Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this month's installment of Tasting in the Dark here at ToutSuite's global headquarters in Napa, California. I would like to introduce first Danielle, because she's absolutely lovely, and unfortunately she's sandwiched between these two meatheads. Christopher on her left, and Sweet Jack on her right. I actually think I need to start with Christopher, though.
Outstanding.
Christopher, why are you here? What is your name? And what diligence, purpose, and poise do you bring to this evening?
I drink wine constantly, frequently, and enthusiastically. Okay. And so sometimes I think when you're tasting wine, you can talk about all the experts and all these nuances, but those of us that drink wine, we should just be able to put our nose in a glass and go, that's delicious.
Do you have a last name?
Lund, L-U-N-D.
Thank you very much.
Well, Stefan.
Moving on. Sweet Danielle.
Yes.
Please tell us, whom are you and why are you here?
My name is Danielle Price, and I am here because I have a wine business called Maison de Prix Wines, and I'm constantly trying to find amazing wines for my customers, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to see what the competition is doing.
Outstanding. Well put. Oh my gosh. Elegance personified. Jack, that just leaves you and me, big guy. That camera wants to know, why are you here and who are you?
Because somebody coerced me after a few glasses of wine.
That's generally
Made
how
a
it
promise,
works.
so that's why I'm here.
I was told I was going to the French Laundry for dinner, actually.
Keep in mind, we lie all the time. So ladies and gentlemen out there in the ToutSuite global cyber world, you know how this format works. We have 6 wines to break down by how much yumminess they offer. We have about 8 to 10 minutes for the first flight, and then we'll repeat that 8 to 10 minutes for the second flight. Once you've calibrated, scored, and more or less penned how you feel about those wines, evacuate the glass. I will let you know the time when it's appropriate. Recharge your own glasses, and then, we'll be speaking with you in just a few minutes. Are you ready to go?
Ready?
Look at this. Danielle's already ready to rock and roll. Man, I love this girl.
Is it a long
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Seasick already. I like it, man.
Ladies and gentlemen out there in cyber world, Matt Simpson once again here on a phenomenal first Monday of September. Welcome one and all. I have Kevin
Wardell
from Healdsburg. He is the gentleman who has selected the world's finest little Tibbles for us to enjoy on this particular Tasting in the Dark. Please be kind enough to tell us whom you are and what is that phenomenal wine shop and where is it in Healdsburg?
So I own a wine shop in Healdsburg called Bergamot Alley. It's a wine bar and wine shop. We do beer and wine. It's a really fun place, a good community space for Healdsburg. I've been there for about a year and a half. And we took a kind of different tack that is common to the area in wine country in general, actually, is that all of our wines are European. All of our wines are from the old world. So we kind of come from a more educational standpoint and giving an opportunity for everybody in wine country, all the winemakers, all the folks in the industry, to have someplace else to drink and basically just learn a little bit about what else is going on out there.
Outstanding. Now, I got to tell you, I can always appreciate someone who's willing to dance to a different song. And have there been death threats? Do you find I don't know, Molotov cocktails being thrown in your window? I mean, you're really flying against convention on this one.
We only got one brick through the window, and it had a really great note on it. It said, "Thank you so much for opening in Healdsburg." And, so it was actually, it was a compliment more than anything else. But needless to say, we raised a few eyebrows when we told people what we were doing in downtown Healdsburg because it was against the norm. But right away, as I've got to know the community, everybody knows that I'm doing the absolute opposite of thumbing my nose at the industry, but actually providing a service for the industry. It was the biggest compliment I could ever have received was a table full of some of my favorite winemakers from around there. About 3 months into the operation, we're still at deer in headlights, and they stopped me and said the only reason, we just figured out why we love this place is because we don't have to sell you anything. We get to come in and drink and not worry about a thing, and that was the best compliment I ever could have heard.
That's awesome. I can always appreciate someone who's willing to outthink their arena. So what is a bergamot?
Bergamot is a type of citrus that origins come from Calabria, the toe of the boot of Italy. It's most commonly known as the scent or the aromatic in Earl Grey tea. And when I first started out working as a sommelier in San Francisco at A16 restaurant, I fell in love with a grape varietal called Lacrima de Mora d'Alba, which smells to me like bergamot and rose petals.
Okay, sorry, everybody. Ultra wine geek. This guy right here, right now. I'm wine geek, ultra wine geek.
It goes deep.
Okay, now, Kevin, we need to start, dissecting, almost vivisecting these three personalities at the table. Whoa, did you see this Danielle girl? I mean, wow. Spitters or quitters. Christopher put it best, and I, for one, am fearing for her safety because I think Jack somewhere in this is going to get hungry and try and eat her. That right arm just kind of flares up. It looks almost like a little chicken wing. It's been well roasted. I'm excited for the potential of this.
He's still trying to figure out who the masked man who convinced him to come here in the first place, and why even listen to the person in the mask anyway. So.
Well, we kind of all do that. I mean, you opened a shop that only sells global wines in a spot that's right in local wine country. So I think maybe you two have been cavorting with the same masked personality.
Perhaps. And I'm digging Christopher's furrowed brow. It's a very, very serious operation over there. He's all fun and games before he gets a glass of wine in front of him.
And I think he wants it to be National Pirate Day again, because I think it's going to come out before. Oh, there he goes. He's already starting to slide in. Okay, that's good news.
He was able to wrestle the spit bucket away.
Whoa.
Which I thought for sure that was hers and hers alone.
Did you see the enthusiasm of this guy? I'm like, I think this is going to be the first time the bottle's going to run dry.
Oh, yeah.
We've been doing this for 3 years. This is going to be quite a night.
That's a good record. We love that.
I love those who will break a record. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen who are globally watching in on this little hootenanny. Whoa, I'm sorry. I'll have to get back to that in a second, because holy crap balls, this Christopher Lund guy is setting a tempo that I've never seen. Holy schnizzles. I mean, I used it earlier, but I gotta throw it down again. Holy shit balls. This guy, he is... Yeah, now he's just showing off. Okay. So there's always one wanker in the elevator, and now we know who it is. Okay. So let's focus in on Jack, the studious third wheel.
Oh yeah, he's taking advantage of the fact that he's being overlooked as the underdog. Nobody trusts that, and we all know what he's up to.
Exactly. So he's gimped up. He's got a bandage on the leg.
He's already got varietal, producer, region. He's got it all down already.
See, I don't trust the guy. See, that's the guy in the movie. You know, all the smart guys in one room.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be in that room. They didn't include him.
He's also the one that gets killed by the dinosaur first in the film, so you got to look out for that.
Holy shnikes, you're right. Okay, wow. Didn't even wait for the signal at 8 minutes to recharge the glasses. Wow, I don't know to love or hate this guy. Well, actually, I kind of love him because I have to work with him, but at this moment, I'm scared of him, and that brings out a much more emotional state for me, and I please, Danielle, don't buckle. Don't give in to what these two swarthy bastards are doing. March to your own drum, be your own woman, and if you have to, just push him over, because gravity will win and he'll fall down.
I think he's using a good technique, though. He did change up the order of the wines in the second flight. I think he's going to mess with his competitors there.
Rat Bastard 101. Okay, so Danielle stepping up the pace, but still very elegant, very poised. I wish I had met her before I met my beloved Punky, because I think that's my one. This is beauty personified. Okay, so now, Kevin, tell me a little bit about Bergamot. How would someone contact you if they needed to reach you?
Well, probably through our website or basically through the door. People come to see us all the time. It's a really, we're centrally located in Healdsburg. Healdsburg's been such a great community for us. We built essentially a bar without a bar specifically. So there's actually no physical bar in our bar. It's more tableside service, and it's more like kind of coming into somebody's den and hanging out and drinking fun wine. So we're really approachable. It's a really fun spot, and I pretty much never leave there. So it's pretty easy to find me.
The address is?
325A Healdsburg Avenue. I did think about that.
Okay, give her another reference, because I know there's a square. I don't know anything else, because I'm a knucklehead.
Coming into town, square's on your right-hand side. We're just after the square.
Okay, awesome. And if someone did desire to procure some of the wines tasted today, would they look at an email address for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Or you could just go to bergamotalley.com. That's the easiest way.
What's your phone number?
433-8720.
And that would be in the area code of 707, people.
I might actually be wrong on that, too. I don't call my phone very often.
All right. So you can see it's two-piece kind of in the same pod. And Jack has now finally recharged his glass. And so I feel bad for the guy. I don't want him to fall behind. But the pace that Christopher is setting is blistering, almost to the point of being painful. And I'm not really sure where this is going to go. But these guys have already plowed through the first three wines. I didn't even get to taste them very much. It's not fair for me and you.
He's clearly having a good time at it, though. There is the pirate smile going on. It's the wink. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Exactly.
Wow, which in this case is very, very little. But if you know a little really, really well, it can be manipulated to be impressive a lot. Okay, so back to Danielle. There's a gracefulness. It's almost like Jackie O is at the table trying to temper the monkeys left and right. Whoa, holy shitballs. Once again, we've had a departure from the table. Didn't even throw up the hand to say, teacher, may I please go to the bathroom? Absolutely. We actually got, ladies and gentlemen, so the 2013 vintage started off at a Ramsgate pace, and it was exciting, intense, and scary. Then things tempered off. It slowed down. We had a much more gradual June, July, and August was quite kind. Now in September, we had our first rain. What do you think that's going to do?
Well, it's already, the whole season's been just complete off from other seasons in Healdsburg. I mean, everybody's picking 3 weeks ahead. Everybody's, but there's a calm this year compared to last year. Last year was obviously absolutely fantastic vintage, but this year there's this sort of calm, like not sure what's going on. They've already picked half their harvest in September. It's September 2nd, and it's very funny to see the winemakers' reactions. It's great for our bar because I think we didn't see anybody for the 3 weeks of harvest last year because literally everybody was just gone. They were working overtime on every single day, where this year it's a nice medium pace, so everybody's really enjoying this particular harvest. A little bit of rain, a little bit of cooling down, they're enjoying it.
Nice. It is shaping up to be truly a peach. Okay, let's get back to these wines. Now, is there a theme, desire, consistency to what was selected?
No, not really. I'm going to give very, very enthusiastic pats on the back if they can identify any single one of these varietals. It's a bit of a challenge. I'll throw that gauntlet out now, but there's definitely an
Wow! Yeah, you saw it here first. Holy shit! Your life is now in jeopardy. Brian, you're a big guy. We'll need some protection later.
I completely evoked and deserved that. That's okay. That's okay. But
Well, we got him to smile too. Holy shit, we're doing great.
But at the end of the day, this is what's representative of what we do at Bergamot Alley. We have 20 wines by the glass. We change them up just about every week or every other week, and the idea is to just bring in different stuff so people are challenged every time they try something. That's all.
Okay. Wow, look at that. Danielle just pulled that huge sip. We just tickled her. You just tickled her tonsils, man. I saw that feather.
Ooh, all right. Yes, the spit bucket didn't come out that time. That is a victory for sure.
That, ladies and gentlemen, that is the greatest sign of affinity and love that a glass of wine can ever hope to ascend to. Because, quite frankly, if it's a day of inspection and spitting and it shoots right down the hopper.
She truly is a lady that she blushed that much after saying that was a swallow.
Indeed. Look at those rosy cheeks. Good Lord. I'm okay.
Axe body spray. Sorry, I knew it's like neutral aroma thing, man.
Did you wear that to every
I'm
tasting?
trying to tone it down, man. I swear to God.
Okay. So,
Hard to make something that's pretty look ugly, all right? That's all I'm saying.
well, I don't usually lose it this often or this early. That would be almost impossible. I would have a better chance of reciting the Bible with one eye at this point. However, now, leaving religion aside and all other things, I know you worked at A16, and at what point in the genesis of you being a wine geek did that really propel you forward, and to what affinity did you find a region, style, or desire as far as what you wanted to drink?
Well, my first love was working at a restaurant in Aspen, Colorado called Mogador.
Fine, just show off. Aspen, San Francisco, whatever,
I
man.
have terrible taste in locations. But worked at a restaurant that was called Mogador with a sommelier named Nikki Dodge who started teaching me like the most unbelievable Spanish wine, and then moved straight into the next most unbelievable sommelier I've ever met, which would be Shelley Lindgren from A16. So went from an all Spanish wine list to an all Italian wine list, essentially all Southern Italian wine list. So basically, I think my affinity has always been sort of the smaller, unheralded varietals that are really kind of up and coming. And working for Shelley for 5 years, for the first 5 years of A16, was just amazing. It was just the best education I could ever have had. It was really, really fun. Back and forth to Italy a number of times, and then started doing vintages and started working in as a cellar hand at Unti Vineyards up in Healdsburg, which is what brought me up to Healdsburg in the first place.
I knew Mick pretty well a number of years ago. And so, ladies, if you're not tuning in very accurately, that's two very prominent and powerful ladies in his life, and his left hand is now unadorned by a ring. So I'm not going to say he's available, and I'm just throwing it out there. If you're a powerful kind of gal, you like juice, this might be your guy.
And you'll have to go up against my girlfriend, who will not be okay with that.
Fair enough. Well taken.
But could you YouTube that?
Very possibly. Okay. We are now closing in on the denouement moment. So, ladies... or lady, gentlemen's, it is about time. Well, never mind. You've already all filled out your scorecards. Holy crap, this has never happened before. I would love to keep poking fun, but I have nothing left to say to these people because, for fork's sake, they're almost done. Yeah, they are pros. And that's really the difference, ladies and gentlemen. Rookies and pros. Of Jack, yeah, you're right, but I'm scared of him, so I don't really want to make fun of Jack.
That I got? Come on, after the look that I got.
For most of you who are watching in, you've probably at some point either met, heard, or seen Jack in one reference frame or another, because as the icons in California wine, as far as presenting and selling wine go, I can only think of two that would stand in shoes similar or possibly eclipse this guy. Robert Mondavi was the greatest wine raconteur, and his career was much, much longer. So, Jack, you got another 40 years to get this figured out. But if all goes well, maybe someday... Well, yeah, I mean, at least by looks. I mean, you're both the same physique. And... All right, we're going to speed this little hootenanny up. Kevin, thank you very, very much. In a second, I'm going to go drop this. We're going to scoot our chairs right up here. We're going to hand off the tally sheets to be tabulated by the esteemed firm of Lustow & Lustow. And then we will vivisect and decide which wines were supreme. Perfect. Thank you kindly. Here we go.
Okay. He's out. Normally I have to give a countdown. Bastard. Thanks, Jack.
Wow.
There we go. Okay.
That was the craziest collection of red wines, man.
Yeah, that was really.
That was
interesting.
nuts.
I don't know
What, there
we
were
were
3
drinking.
reds?
The
Yeah.
3 greatest
I was
examples
like,
of not Grenache ever.
Okay. Christopher, I'd like to start with you.
Sir.
Having just heard that these 3 wines were holy wow, okay, what was that? Was there a lead-away favorite amongst the 3 or all 6?
If I had to call back in my head, I think it would probably be A and the White Flight. It was the one wine that stood out as start to finish, nose to palate. I definitely noticed a little residual, but you can't fault a winery for that, man. It does help the medicine go down. But just start to finish in terms of aroma flavor, I loved A. And in terms of the Red Flight, actually I thought the most delicate one here, number D, was kind of the most complete from start to finish. You like that?
Number D.
Anyone else? Yeah. Roman numeral D.
Yes,
Of
there you
course,
go.
of course. Which would translate to 400? I'm not sure. Danielle, same question.
Okay, so my answer is kind of the same in the sense that I thought A was like my absolute favorite. I scored at 20 points. It was
20 out of 20, ladies and
20 out of
gentlemen. That's a
20.
perfect score, first time ever.
I loved A. It was my kind of wine.
Yep.
I absolutely thought it was just so delicious, well balanced, amazing, so floral, pretty delicate. Loved
Yep.
it. And then my favorite for the reds would be the last F.
Oh, okay, very good.
Yes.
F
Very
not
good.
for failure, but
That's
for
a-
F
fabulous.
for fabulous.
Is F not Nebbiolo?
Whoa, we're not there yet. Jack is
Jumping ahead, jumping
I don't know.
Jeez Louise, this kid wants to finish the race by jumping in first. Okay. Jack, same question.
I really like both whites, but for me, I like the mouthfeel on B better. So
Okay.
I marked that one up a little higher because I like the richness and I thought it would be a little better food wine. But frankly, as a cocktail wine, probably the A would be better because of the crispness and the really nice bright fruit.
Okay.
But I just kept thinking I kept thinking of what food this would go in, and that was really, I thought, a really nice food wine. Had a little bit of a bitter end of it, but compared to the other one. But I really love the mouthfeel on it.
Sure,
the richness.
absolutely.
If you had to give us an archetypal white wine for what I want to drink this moment, this day, this hour, what would that be?
My go-to is always kind of Rhone varieties.
interesting.
I love Condrieu and, Viognier, good Viogniers, and
I can see why you like B then.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Marcelin Roussan.
So he favors the sluttier side of the He wants the girl and the big boobs in the window, lots of hair, girls from Texas. What do you do?
It's all about the nail polish.
Okay, all right.
Texas
Probably-
represent. Thank you out there. Yeah.
I've had more exposure to them than anything else, and I have friends in the Rhone Valley, and I've spent a lot of time there, so I think I'm a little
fancy
prejudiced
right.
that way, so that's
Okay.
why.
Awesome. Was there a lead-away favorite within the red campaign?
I liked F the best, but I
Okay.
thought A was really good too, but really different style wine. But
Yeah.
they were,
D.
D was really good as
Roman
well.
numeral D.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody
Both really
understands.
nice wines. I just could not figure out the middle one, E. I made a wild guess, but
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
By far the E is.
and I know
probably the most
I've
bizarre.
had it before, but I still can't.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
funny.
I know I've had a wine like that.
That's right.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, did you actually hear that gauntlet boom hitting the table? Because I sure did. Wow, that's fascinating. Okay, our tabulation team has now perfected or at least
Thank you.
personified excellence in the degree of how we're going to present the winners, losers.
Is it
and
Price
those in the
Waterhouse as usual that tallies all of our results to make sure that the
Usually
accuracy?
Lustau, which,
There ain't
there's no similarities.
I'm the judge.
Jury and executioner
Jury,
as
that's
well.
right.
It's kind that way. All right.
I got to tell you, I never saw so many high scores.
Wow.
There's a big feather in the cap.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know if the testing panel was kind of, very felt good today and
We
very
were
generous.
drinking a lot of
but,
gin before this, just throwing that out
Paid
there.
us a lot.
I never seen anything like that. So let's start with C.
C.
Okay.
Steve.
Hand it over.
Okay.
Start with
The
C.
rosé.
Everybody.
Which I called it reminded me of a Loire Valley rosé. It reminded me of Sancerre with a little bit of Pinot Noir blended into it.
Okay. Interesting, for sure. I could see that certainly because the acidity is
Exactly
obviously
right, yeah,
so
and-
prominent throughout the entire wine.
The rose petals, is
Yeah,
a kind of
it's there,
a.
but without being, on the fruit side of things.
Yeah.
So this is
Or
where,
even this.
yeah, this is where
What
we
is
get
this?
into the Basque country. This is a Chocolina rosé.
very
So
good.
Chocolina, of course.
Chocolina's right here, second guess.
There-
Did you
is
see
it?
that?
I see the X. I see the X. Obviously, Chocolina is almost always, a white wine. Although Hanurubiri Zuri is a red varietal. So there's a few people that are making some nice rosé out of it, and I think this is just a
you
stellar
hear that,
example
ladies and
of
gentlemen?
an amazing.
He was watching the movie where they fly around in the brooms. What was that phrase?
With the broom
You were
phrase?
playing Quidditch and saying funny words?
Hanurubiri Zuri. Yeah, that's it.
Like I said,
So is it the rep that teaches you that, or did you travel to the
Butchering
country? How does
word
that
without
work?
bringing attention to it. I appreciate that.
Chimichurri, what was that? What was
But
that?
so Amishtoy, to me, one of the best Chocolina producers, makes some really, really beautiful Chocolina, both white and red. They actually make a red Chocolina as well. But in the very corner of where Spain meets France, and just a really cool.
Wasn't that
area.
a Jay-Z tune about 2-3 years ago?
Spain meets
Chocolina?
France, that's
Wasn't
where
that
DDA
him?
is
No?
from.
No, okay.
All right,
that's
so
terrible.
let's keep moving here.
Moving on.
I thought it might be like a
I'm gonna switch it to
2013
this
Australian
presentation.
Southern Hemisphere.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you actually
That's not
ever
secondary
watched
fermentation.
a
That's
giant whale fly down a hillside?
So
That's pretty much what we got.
then we're gonna reveal D, and I think that was very much, you have a 14 points on that one, and 15 and 15. Actually, Danielle is guessing a Gamay on that wine. Am I correct?
It was
I did
sort
too.
of had that style.
I said Gigondas.
Flavor.
I said Gamay.
Wanna
I
get jiggy with
mean,
it?
I could definitely see Gamay.
Mate. That's
What
me.
is
Well,
I'm
that's
that.
wow.
a wonderfully typical Italian
Wow.
bottle of wine that doesn't tell you anything about what it actually is. I mean, you can maybe guess the producer out of that. Monte is
my
a
wine,
completely
Maddie.
fantasy name. It's actually 100% Bracchetto, which is normally.
Oh, the sweet
So this is a dry red. This is a dry red Bracchetto, and only a couple of producers that actually focus on a dry version of a Bracchetto de Acqui. Obviously, usually to me a more interesting sweet wine than
I
Moscato
totally
d'Asti.
get it.
But it's a really, really fun wine to
The
experiment.
idea of this tasting is not to make
Yeah.
us all quick idiots.
Thank you.
No, actually, I love it. I love it.
You should have seen his email because that's what he
Yeah.
challenged me to do. He said, "Okay, these are the people that you're going to make look like idiots. Do it."
Next one I'm going to be revealing is the wine E, and the wine E, Christopher really didn't like. I mean, that wasn't the second lowest score that he gave, but he gave it 13. Daniel, that was something that you really enjoyed as well.
I like it a
So,
lot.
what was displeasing on this one for you?
Wow, pretty.
For me, sometimes a wine can be spicy, but if there's not enough fruit to carry the spice, it ends up being a little bitter and a little conflicted. Now, I think the trouble with some of these Euro-centric wines that we're tasting today is they are not meant to be tasted alone. Every single one of these wines is designed to complement a certain food from a certain area, and that's the trick with Europe is you taste the wines on their own, you're like, I don't get it. Then you try the local dish that goes with it, and you're like, now I understand why you make this wine, because it counteracts what it is that you eat every day as a local. So sometimes tasting them just sort of blind like that, to me the wine felt a little bit sort of unsupported. The cranberry and that kind of thing was nice, but a little bitter. Like I just needed something a little more satisfying as in terms of
Whatever, you
overall.
sissy.
What about you, Danielle? I mean, what was really appealing to you on this one here?
On this one, I love the spiciness of it. I thought it was like an amazing food wine. There's a lot of like leather roasted meat. I just thought it was, but it was balanced. It wasn't, there wasn't
Bondage
like
chicks who taste
excessive
wine.
tannins, and I just thought it was a beautiful, beautiful
So
wine.
it's very interesting. Like a little parenthesis here is you guys, you test the wine for what it is, and you kind of test the wine thinking about food as well.
Well, with the reds, definitely. I disagree with you only, and I think that the first two whites were so pretty and so floral, and I just thought that actually food might interfere with the beautifulness of these
Might
wines.
encumber their abilities to please.
Yes, whereas I thought all the reds needed food.
Well, there's no doubt this wine is challenging. It's from Rias Baixas. This is Albarino country. Nobody in their right mind makes red wine from up there, except perhaps these guys. So Pedro Longo makes one of the best Albarinos in the area. It's an amazing, amazing wine. But
Pedro Longo.
2010 was one of the better vintages they had for the red grapes. So believe it or not, this is actually one of the riper versions of this wine that I've ever had, which makes it fun. But some of the other ones can be quite what you said, quite that green, bitter, and just a little bit underripe. But to me, it's all about those spices, as you said, Danielle. It's like a Moroccan spice market.
Yeah.
There's so much going on.
And not
in
too
there.
much alcohol. What
I
is
like
the
that.
alcohol?
Absolutely.
in
No,
this?
I don't
Because
know.
all of these were
It's probably
sort of-
12.
Yeah, 12. Yeah, it felt like a 12.
It's going to be that 12.5 that every European label says, but who knows what it is. No, but it's probably around 12%.
12%.
And what's the varietal? I didn't catch that part.
It's
Yeah, what is it called?
Thank you.
It says,
Exactly. Was that two X's and a, yeah, thank you.
It says 12% on the
Pedro
label.
Longo is the producer. Doumia is the name of the wine. The producer, the grapes are Mencia, which is probably a
Right.
common varietal out there, but then two other ones that probably have their sort of origins from Portugal, Canho and Espadero. So it's a
said.
blend of those wines, but it's
Two bastard children just trying to get it real. Trying to get it right, man.
exactly. Trying to hold up to the pedestal that is
Mencia is
Mencia,
what
which
it
I don't know how many people even know Mencia.
Excellent.
And,
Okay, number one thing about
set up
marketing in America is make your wine something people can pronounce. It's just a weird thing about us in the wine business. Like, I'll take the one that kind of looks like I woke up this morning and found alphabet soup. Yeah, that's kind of, I'll take that one right there. Like, something I can just roll off the tongue, man. You gotta give it a nickname. Nicknames, we gotta bridge the gap, man.
All right, so now we're gonna we're gonna change a little bit here because you guys are gonna ask you also to try to guess the price point on that.
Okay.
So we're going back in the top three.
Okay.
And we're gonna reveal wine B. Christopher again, that is your lowest. Danielle, the third highest. And for Jack, the second highest. So I'm gonna ask you, and I'm gonna ask Jack. So let's reveal one B. And what was the trouble on this one for you?
I kind of like the aroma, a little bit of oxidation, so there was a little dumbing down of the nose, and I definitely felt like there was a little residual sugar there. So looking for that, the nose on the wine maybe want this like zesty, vibrant palate, and that little touch of RS in there it was a little touch flabby, so to speak. For
How
me.
much will we pay for it?
For what I tasted, I'm going $12.50.
$12.50. Okay, back to you, Jack. So this is something like you enjoyed. That was your second highest score.
Thought it was more floral than the first one, definitely more aromatic and richer on the palate, and maybe a little spice to it as well, as opposed to the other one, which was just really bright, super high acid, real floral, really really light wine, which was, beautiful, beautiful wine, but this one just to me had more going on, a little more complexity.
Have you guys and for you too, Daniel? Have you experienced any wine like that in California?
No, not with that complexity.
Not with the
The
minerality.
minerality, exactly.
You don't get that
And
kind of
that- and that
minerality from white
spice.
wines in California, really.
All right, and
Unless
for
they're
you,
salty.
Daniel,
Oh, the gauntlet has been laid down,
in
man.
California watching the show. Jack, what's your phone number?
That's not going on that far of a limb. That's
You
fair
get
enough.
great. There are some really incredibly awesome, great white wines from California.
I love it when
Backpedal.
a guy
Like this.
hang himself on. Come on, throw the rocks, baby.
Jack, how much will we pay for it?
I put down $25. I thought it was a pretty.
Rock and roll.
I'd much rather sell wine to Jack than to
How about
me.
you, Daniel?
Price wise,
Yeah.
I would say like $20. I'm gonna
Okay,
go right in the middle.
Kevin.
Danielle's, of course, right on the money.
Of course.
Yay!
Nice.
I win the bottle now.
Right, so you're right in the middle of the two. You nailed it.
I think it's a bargain.
Fantastic.
Nailed it.
It's
$20 and a penny.
Exactly. You went over?
It depends.
It's a Malagusia from Greece.
Wow.
One more time so everybody can hear that.
Malagusia.
Oh, I guess Verdicchio.
Malagusia is way up in the north of Greece. It's not one of the island wines, which are really have become a huge trend right now. Is the sort of island wines of Greece, where you get that real salinity, you get a real kind of salty vibe to it. But this is actually way up in the mountains in the area where they grow more red wine than anything else. There's Zino Malbro up there, but this is a really great example of something that's real mineral driven. A lot of their white wines, their native varietals that they're championing right now are definitely on the aromatic side. So you have that sort of perceived sweetness on there. There may be a little bit of RS on there, not very much, but it definitely finishes off with a great minerality and a great mouthfeel. I just think this wine's really,
I think it's
fun
pretty outstanding.
because it's very different.
It's been great to see the wine world super support Greece. Like really tough marketing, really tough getting the wines out there, and there's been a gigantic open arm. Like, I'll put the name nobody can pronounce on my wine list in that white section, but I'll support you all day long.
Well,
as
as long as it's not Retsia, then it's a good thing. So I mean, there's only a handful of really great winemakers coming out of Greece, but the ones that are coming out, there's some really just absolutely shocked me. Some of the wines that I've had recently that are just
Guy hanging
fantastic.
himself on the cross, waiting for the round.
All right, and then
All right, first four candidates are on the table. That leaves just two
and
personalities.
again,
Absolutely. hands down one of
and
the-
again, we're gonna go with F. And again, this is from the three. This is a list favorite for Christopher with 13. Again, for Daniel, this is the favorite, and Jack is second. On that.
Favorite. This was my favorite as well.
All right, so wait, I want to see if anybody has a varietal guess on this.
I was thinking Southern Italian, but I had no idea.
Okay, anyone else? Anybody else?
I went Nebbiolo.
I thought it was kind of a Southern Rhone blend.
Jack's the closest for
Wow.
sure.
Good God, this guy's
Or
good.
Barbera, actually. My first thought, I wrote down Barbera the first time. And then-
100% old
And then I
wine
was
Coumas.
thinking,
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, from Sablé.
You crazy monkey.
I thought that was only allowed to be made into rosé.
But I knew that was wrong later. I never did cross it out. But it was too earthy for
I
Barbera.
didn't keep up to the, sorry about that, Dave.
So what price do you pay on that?
On F?
On F,
I put $30.
$30 for you,
I'd say 35.
I went 20.
20.
It's 24 on the shelf.
Oh!
Domaine de Piaget, one of my favorite value Rhone producers. His wines across the board are just absolutely outstanding. And this little, old vine Counoise that he does is really,
that's
really, really
what I
outstanding.
thought.
And Counoise is an interesting varietal. We've had a lot of people come into the wine shop and specifically to try it and say, you know what, we're planting Counoise. So more and more people, out of all the varietals that we represent, which is of course a goofball list, but the Counoise is one that a lot of people have said that they're going to start growing in Sonoma in the area, because they know that obviously Rhone varietals do very, very well. Grenache has been being a huge charge, and Mourvèdre.
Here's the
and
super
so-
geek question: is Counoise not necessarily readily available at most of your nurseries? Is this
No.
Tablas Creek that's putting most of the two Counoise out there?
There is a Tablas Creek clone, and I know there's one out of Davis as well. So there's a couple of different things.
better not
But
plant
I've
too
only
much.
had a couple of that. There's some real nice
Maybe
examples,
he'll
but there's
compete with
definitely a lot of
Pelican someday.
young. Yeah, exactly. One can only hope, right?
Yeah. But next to Grenache, my favorite rosé is on the planet. The Counoise is a great rosé
Absolutely.
varietal.
Absolutely,
For
yeah.
sure. Look at you making dry wines out of all the rosé varietals, man.
All right, and so that leads us to the winner of the group, 53 points. There you go. And Christopher, you enjoyed that. That was the highest score, 20 points for Danielle, and for Jack, that was your least favorite, and that was with 15. What
Least
was
favorite
the
among a
subject?
bunch of
Yeah.
good wines. So,
So what was the issue on that for you?
Simple but beautiful. Really nice, really nice fruit, really nice balance. But it's the simplest of the wine of all the wines here, I think. And so, not when you say least favorite, maybe, but among a bunch of good wines. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's
What about you,
really-
Daniel?
it's a
That
good
was a 20 out of 20.
I loved it. I thought it was just a perfect wine. I could drink it, every day of the week. And
I like your style.
No, I truly.
Anytime
thought it
I'm
was a
thirsty.
beautiful
Twice
wine.
on Sunday.
Twice on Sunday, exactly.
Christopher,
What?
what do you think? I mean,
He doesn't think much.
The first thing I wrote down was, the first time I put my nose in the glass, I thought the Venica Sauvignon Blanc, like it totally hit me as that Italian Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
But then that little mid palate, again, that more of the lime zest, you know,
Yeah,
that
tangerine,
that
lime
started
zest,
to make me
absolutely.
think, am I looking at a really great Trebbiano from a really great rocky site? Like it really made me think of that coastal Italian white wine. And sometimes we talk about food and wine, but there's more situational drinking involved, where a wine like this, when it's 90 degrees today, is so satisfying compared to other varietals.
Absolutely, yeah,
And
this
maybe
is
that's
that-
why it was the most appealing to me today, because it's wicked hot in here today, and so that wine was like super
Only to you,
refreshing.
sweaty
man,
boy.
you know?
So how much will you pay for it?
What's that?
How much you would pay?
For that kind of flavor and wine, I'm $10.
$10?
I'm 15.
None for you.
15?
I
None
put
for you.
15, but I
None
would
for
pay
you.
more for it probably.
So tell us a little bit more about this one here, Kevin.
So Verdicchio is definitely one of my all-time loves as far as grape varietals. When I went back and forth to Italy a number of times, was to the Marche region, which I just think is just, it's now up and coming, but certainly doesn't get nearly the recognition that it deserves in Italy. So this is from the smaller of the two appellations in the Marche, which is the calf of the boot, where is way up in the mountains. It's called Metallica, which is probably one of the best appellation names I've ever heard. Exactly.
Yeah.
I happened to, at A16, I had the privilege of serving Lars this bottle of wine, and he was just like, no way!
And then he stiffed you. I know, we all know.
But as a
That's all for you, Lars.
The smallest little organic producer, really just making amazing wine year after year. But this year, the 2012 vintage, I've been buying his wine for 10 years now at different restaurants and different places. And I've always been championing his wine. And now all of a sudden I'm allocated to like 4 cases, because this year he got the biggest write-up as one of the best white wines,
Big
not only
stars,
for the value, but one of the best white wines in Italy. And it's just, I'm super happy for him, but absolutely pissed that I can't get the wine anymore. But it's a fantastic example of what I think is one of the more interesting and more just crisp, clean, stereotypically beautiful white wines in Italy. And,
Really
and
good
so yeah, it's a really
How
fun
much?
wine. It's an everyday drinking. Yeah, it's $16. Yeah.
I said
There you go.
15
Yeah,
years.
15, 16. That's what it is on the shelves. Again, he's got a lot of integrity. This guy, so he's probably going to keep his price point. But I don't know. After this year, it's going to creep up a little bit, and it deservedly so for sure.
So, you guys are like, now I'm going to turn to you guys, and so what do you think of the selection and what, is of the wines? I mean, that's, price point, is Bergamot is something that you endorse?
Oh God, absolutely. I mean, I think the hardest thing sometimes about studying wine, especially because you get so many wine professionals in this industry, that access. I mean, just trying to track down some of these varietals just to try to see what's going on in the rest of the world is virtually impossible. So, like a light, a lighthouse in the fog kind of thing to bring these kind of varietals to us that none of us. You try to look. Can you imagine a salesman with those 6 bottles in his bag, walk around the valley going, "I got 6 wines I want you to try today, man."
You can't pronounce it, but you're gonna like them.
So the braveness of jumping into this, bravo, man. I think that's outstanding. It's a fun collection.
There was not one wine served that I would not happily want in my wine cellar, and the fact that the price points are all under. What was the most expensive wine?
I think $26.
$26.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
That's the domestic market.
So I just think people are really fortunate to have you, because you are, for every one of these wines, I'm sure you're tasting hundreds that are rejected.
Right.
And that's why someone like you is so valuable to the
Jack?
customer.
They all suck.
good
That all
wine. Quite a bit out of my wheelhouse until we got to the Piaget. And,
Right.
but really good wines. Amazing that I would drink anytime, with any meal, and or just sitting around drinking wine. So
Under the bridge,
fabulous
Jack?
wines.
So,
I drank the first 2 wines and I was like, okay, these are a little off my radar already.
and again, for the viewers, Kevin, do you know anyone on the panel? Maybe a Jack, but that was many years
It's
ago.
funny,
or something.
Jack and I recognize each other instantly. I'm not sure from what wine event, but we've both
But
been
that
in
was
the
a
industry
long
for a
time
long
ago,
time.
but
So it's
you
from
don't
some
know
Burning
anyone,
Man?
so-
No, I haven't known anybody.
That was really a testing panel that was really, I didn't pay you, we didn't pay you.
For sure.
Yeah, we're aware. Thanks.
So, I mean,
Thanks for
so
reminding
that's
me.
great,
I was told I'd get punch and
great
pie
job.
here.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I feel really fortunate.
Hey,
because
there's
again,
the wound. Let's pour some salt in it.
Nobody necessarily knew exactly what we
Yeah.
do. I mean, you
Yeah.
looked us up a little bit, but you definitely didn't know that, okay, you were about to be inundated with wines that were completely, bizarre and out there. So that makes
Without a
me feel
doubt.
really good. I almost felt really guilty at the very beginning, like, wow, this is so wrong to bring somebody to a blind and give them this. This is just
Yeah.
absolutely
Actually,
not giving anybody a fighting
Well,
chance.
I think it takes both. I mean, because especially you bring this here in Napa Valley, Valley and in Napa Valley, because you are also the first store, wine shop outside Napa Valley that we're featuring, and you're the very first one. And that's
Imagine
great.
sitting down to your MS examination. This is your blind flight. The flop sweat that hits you. Like, what the hell is this?
Shitballs, Batman. Bobby, please help me.
So that's great. Oh, we have like
Ladies and
very
gentlemen.
different- But so we're gonna wrap it up for that part here, because I want to go back with Matt a little bit here. But great job.
Thank you. Yeah, that
I
was
mean,
bravo.
that's
Studio audience panel.
The only thing is Chocolina
anything
in a
happened
complete
in Napa
sentence.
Valley that we can talk about, for involving any.
Before we go there, please introduce yourself one more time to the global community. And let them know how to contact you, because these wines are truly worthy of your attention, and they are absolutely, you have to be drinking this juice.
For those of you who went to the potty
So we
earlier.
have a little place in Healdsburg, right in downtown, called Bergamot Alley. It's a wine bar. It's kind of in everything. It's a little community center. We do. I spin all my old vinyl. We have or my record collection in the bar. 'Cause
Come
I
on.
spend that much time there.
I'm
that
so
basically
Never
I just-
mind.
I mean,
Oh my
Just go to Healdsburg, Google
It's just a
Bergamot.
really good place to come drink.
You'll find
for
this
sure,
jerk
yeah.
off, and everything will be fine. You'll
Just
drink
follow
better
the scent of the
juice.
patchouli
You'll end up
oil. You'll
thanking
find
me
it.
later.
And you might find us hanging out there.
That's the best part in the world. It's the best compliment I could ever have, is that the people who come and visit us and come and drink are somewhere or somehow connected or somewhere in the wine industry, and that's the best thing in the world. We really love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Matt, what happened last month? Anything happened last month that you're pissed off about, and you wanna talk and involve?
There are a couple of things.
Okay, go ahead.
The first and foremost would be that, is it truly a bastardization to present yourself as a boutique house and then get sued by the local government for going over your bond by 1 million gallons? Not 100 or 1,000, but 1 million gallons.
Does anybody know what a million
what-
gallons
what-
looks
what-
like, by
I'm
the
not
way?
going to say who that was. If anyone Googles a 1 million gallon overage lawsuit, they'll kind of figure it out.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, what does it mean to be an artisanal or boutique
Yeah.
producer? Because
Bravo.
I know that of the 5 other people at this table, we all have a preconceived idea of what that means. That means that we're touching every barrel. We get to put an expression of whom we are into that wine. We loved it, we nurtured it, we did something of ourselves to present to the people that we want to drink that wine.
Yeah.
If you go and blow your gallonage by 1 million, can you really be an artisanal producer? So, I mean, I kind of open it up to the panel. At what point should they not only be sued, but ostracized?
Well, let's define a little bit like a boutique winery. What is it like in terms of numbers? What in your mind is a boutique winery?
I would say anything under 20,000 cases.
Oh my God, I think so differently.
And that's why this is fun.
My answer would be anything like under 500 cases.
Garagiste.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really boutique.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, that's
All right.
but,
20,000
That was just
cases
the number
is-
that came to
but-
my head, but I was
but-
gonna-
but
20,000 cases is small. When you get,
No
you
way,
know,
that's huge.
yeah.
Whatever, Mr. Minor Guy. I mean, I know
Not
you're not there
anymore.
anymore,
no,
but,
it's
Not
yeah.
anymore.
I don't know.
but they started off in that framework, but they ascended to a point that was ginormous in my mind. Because you hit 20,000 cases, I mean, you're huge. Now you're in grocery stores.
No.
You're
20,000
in
cases
20,000
are in grocery
programs.
stores.
No.
Come on, come
no,
on,
no,
Jack.
No, you're wrong about that.
Ah, come on, Jack.
You're in too many places for it to be boutique.
Yeah, that's like
You no longer have to earn the privilege of drinking that wine.
you're fucking
I
Budweiser.
don't think so.
It's going to be
I
presented to
disagree.
you by
I
fate and
disagree.
folly.
But it depends on the model of the winery. You can make 20,000 cases and make 500 cases each of 10 different wines, and
Then we call you PAX.
yeah.
Sorry.
Or 20
Barbara,
different wines,
That's a good
and
one.
all of them are really small.
No, it
Depends on your model. It depends on
I think my phone's buzzing right now.
Did everybody's phone go off at the same time?
So, and what about you?
I just think it just overrides a whole other issue, which is in America, since we don't have appellation controls, we don't have DOCGs, the war of words is always going to be somewhat inconsequential. I mean, we can call it boutique. My favorite is reserve. What the hell does that even mean? So what I'm saying is the word boutique, it doesn't mean anything.
It's a marketing
Who cares?
term.
Thank you very much. It
Unfortunately,
doesn't
the same things
matter.
that have happened to the word
Within the house.
organic and biodynamic.
So
at this
the
point.
only
mean,
way I
come
could
on.
maybe defend a decision like that is they talk about boutique and they've grown, God bless them for their success. success. You know, at some point people are buying that much wine, that's why they expand it, and yet they still sit as a family around the table. And so it still feels like a boutique at dinner where you're breaking bread going, okay, so now we've got tractors instead of us driving the little 4x through the vineyard, and yet we're still the same family sitting around the table. We've just benefited from a lot of success. So it still feels like a boutique. We're still talking about the wines and how the year has gone with the kids and the grandkids running around now. Thank you, I know, but at some point you're like, oh, but I guess boutique, we've grown to, you know, 250,000 cases, you know, and it, you know, so I don't know, again, the word boutique has no legal definition, so who prevents them from using it and just redefining it? I
Okay,
mean,
then let's take it one step further. At what point do we find that the genesis and growth will be dumbed down so that they can hit certain markets with the volume quantities that are necessary? I mean, do you guys have a stance on this? Is there a number or is it superlative?
What I'd be curious about is with interstate shipping laws, if they change from a gallonage law so that now a gigantic monolithic winery has to be subject to all the shipping laws and they'll stay gigantic. If all of a sudden you go the 20,000 gallon Mendoza line and go, anybody making a little bit of 5,000 cases is no longer subject to interstate shipping laws. Watch these large wineries break themselves into nibbleness and again go right back down to that small production. So, you know, us, the consumers, is the only way that can really kind of nudge those kind of decisions, I think, by choosing to drink better wine.
And there's no way you can actually put a number on it. You can't absolutely say, okay, well, hey, this is, you know, because obviously there's variance in there, but beyond that, it's a matter of how they're actually taking care of the wine. And yes, I can see why they would refer to themselves as retaining that boutique style, because again, they're expanding the definition of something that can't necessarily be you know, defined in this model.
To me, I'm definitely with Matt.
Sure.
I think this is crazy. I mean, this is crazy.
That was a lot of zeros to be over.
That's right. I mean,
but now the 90,000 case wineries.
We've all bounced checks before, but that's ridiculous, man.
But this is misleading people. And not only you mislead people, but also you mislead the government or the whatever the people beyond that. And this is like almost tax evasion. I mean, they're gonna cut. They're gonna get you.
No. You feel like your 702s. No.
You go like, you know, like a million cases over. I mean, come on.
They're paying tax
I mean,
on
it's
it.
like, well, yes, they're gonna, but that's just a principle. That's just like the you know, who we're gonna take for a ride here.
Right.
I mean,
but come on, look, are you telling me that you seriously think Chef Boyardee cooks every can of your raviolis? Are you telling me that you think Sarah Lee's out there going, shit, I gotta get out another 6 dozen pound cakes or I'm fucked this week, man? You know, like,
It's just a
like
marketing
really the
term.
illusion of boutique? Like,
so,
seriously, man.
how many cases you making at Summerson?
14,000.
14,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. How many cases are being made at Chicago as well?
About 2,800, 3,000.
Yeah.
3,000. Okay.
Biggest year.
I mean, you see a difference between like, is it like, you know?
I know the
boutique-
difference.
Well,
Believe me,
yeah.
I've worked in big
But
wine,
I mean,
you know,
but I
a
still,
winery
I
is
still
double
feel
the
like-
size of the one I'm
I
at.
still feel like, you know, you're
a
boutique,
small
but I
winery.
mean, like, but come on. I mean,
At
it's just,
14,000 cases, you're still a very
it's just-
intimate house.
At 14,000 cases, I still don't have nearly enough wine to go around.
I don't
and
see-
I
I don't
can't
see
sell
how
it
you
to
can-
grocery stores
I don't-
and
exactly.
Costco and places like that because I just can't supply those places. So
Right.
I'm just going to fine wine shops and good restaurants, and that's all I can afford to sell them to.
And that's appropriate.
Yeah.
It's good.
And even at
that's-
20,000, that's all I can do.
Right. Now,
Once you
and-
get up to, once you get to 25, 30, 35,000 cases, then you need the bigger guys to
Okay,
do
so
distribution.
that's your
And that's
tipping
what
point.
I'm looking at it from a business standpoint.
Right.
Is when you start going to that next level business-wise, that's when you go from boutique to a big producer. And even big producers, some of them make small boutique wines within that house. And there can't be a number on it because it depends on your business model. You can be 30,000 cases and make 20 different wines with really small production, 200-300 cases of some
Absolutely.
that are handmade.
I don't want to redirect
And so there's
that
no right answer to the question.
Sean Larkin,
But
can you look up the word
when you're-
boutique on, can you go online right now and give us a definition for boutique real quick,
cases
man?
over
your
your
bond.
permit, then
Anyone?
you're not
Technology?
a wine.
Boutique?
There's
You're
no
presenting
definition.
yourself
Who's
as
fast?
a family
got
boutique producer.
And so while they may not agree that 20,000 is a boutique winery, it's a small number compared to so
Got it.
many other people.
Okay. Christopher,
Sir,
thank you very, very much. It was
You're
lovely
very
to make
welcome.
fun of you. You're one of the best.
I would have loved to have been made fun of no one
Lovely to
else in
meet
this
you.
world.
Thank you very
Thank
much for
you.
playing along. I hope you enjoyed the wines.
I did. I
Jack,
love the
it was a
wines.
pleasure to
Thanks,
see you
Matt.
again.
Yeah.
And
Kevin.
Kevin,
Great.
wow.
Bravo, Kevin.
Oh,
Outstanding, my friend. My friend, bravo.
Bergamot Bergamot Alley,
Hey.
Healdsburg. You need to be drinking these wines.
Call ahead for a
Thank
table
you all
because
very much.
we're booking the joint, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the studio audience, thank you all very much. We'll be here the first Monday of next month, tasting in the dark. ToutSuite, we love you.